Hello and welcome to Squib TV. Samuel Layton can't be with us this week, so I'm Jack Shepherd and I'm joined by James Cartwright, and today we're going to be talking about...
look back at week 2.
What games caught your eye, James?
Well, the big thing this week for me, and when I was watching the games over the course of the weekend, was teams that I didn't expect to do that well this season catching my eye and saying we're a good football team this season. And them two teams are the Falcons and the Denver Broncos. The Broncos, I questioned whether they would be a challenge in that AFC West. It's a very competitive division. No questions on the defence. They performed against the Cowboys this week. But offence-wise, you were thinking, is Trevor Siemian going to be the guy to lead them forward? And absolutely this week he was. Devastating against that Cowboys defence. Him and Emmanuel Sanders connecting up well. And the other thing about the Broncos this week was the running game got going. I thought CJ Anderson proved himself to be a quality player. And it's good tandem he has with Jamal Charles as well, coming in to get them extra yards. So I really think the Broncos are going to be pushing that AFC West title close this season, and that's possibly the most competitive division in football.
Yeah, well, the Broncos had a really good week against the Cowboys, 42-17, holding Ezekiel Elliott to only 8 yards all game, something like that.
It was, yeah, that's correct.
So obviously they're looking really strong for the division. Any other games you've caught your eye there, James?
But as I said, the Falcons, you're questioning whether they got off that Super Bowl hangover, opening the new stadium, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, what an impressive facility that looked like, as Chris Collinsworth pointed out numerous times in the fixture, and rightly so. And what an opening for the actual stadium. Devonta Freeman proving what a fantastic running back he is. And I think, is there any running back you'd rather have in the end zone, sort of like in the red zone, than Devonta Freeman? Because he just seems to be able to find that end zone so freely as he did on Sunday evening. Matt Ryan having another good game. Julio Jones didn't really feature in this game.
No.
I mean, they didn't really need him. Packers-wise, I think Aaron Rodgers is better at times. I think he kind of goes for too many of the impressive plays rather than playing some simple football. Ty Montgomery having a good game. But yeah, Falcons, good victory for them. Another game that caught my eye was the Patriots getting back on track, as you would have expected, against the Saints. Tom Brady having one of his most impressive games. First time he's thrown 3 TDs in the first quarter, I believe.
Yep.
I think you came up with that stat on Sunday evening. So yeah, another good win for them. And other games, Titans beating the Jaguars 37-16. Have the Jags surprised you how poorly they did last week?
Yeah, the defence last week was very solid, and this week to give up 37 points to the Titans. Titans are a good side, but they've given up a lot of points there that they really shouldn't have given up. I was expecting more from the Jags. Yeah,
I think about this AFC South division, I'm thinking there's going to be a lot of games where they'll come up against each other and one of them will blow each other out, and you don't know which team it's going to be. I mean, the Colts, the Texans, the Titans and the Jaguars, they're all pretty even, aren't they, in this division? I mean, can you call a winner in that division at all?
It's totally unpredictable, that division.
I mean, the Jaguars could come out next week and beat the Ravens at Wembley, in emphatic fashion, but we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
Other games that caught my eye, the Lions and the Giants. You're an Eagles fan, and you've seen the Giants over 2 weeks, losing 2 games in a row. I mean, in my opinion, if I was an Eagles fan, I'd be very happy watching this Giants team because they look very poor. Certainly Eli Manning.
Both the New York teams look terrible this season. I'll be surprised if the Giants finish anywhere other than last in the NFC East this year.
Damn it. I mean, they had a few chances to get back into the game yesterday, but I think Matt Stafford proving what a brilliant player he is.
I suppose if Odell Beckham gets fit, they might have another weapon on the offense, could get a few more points on the board, but still the defense is terrible.
The Giants' defence was always one of their qualities last season. Do you think it's gone down? I think they were losing Janoris Jenkins last night. Might have been an impacting factor.
They managed to get to the quarterback a few times, but anything in the secondary, there was nothing there. Anytime Matt Stafford threw the ball, they couldn't stop it.
What I was impressed with last night was the Lions' pass rush against Eli Manning. I thought, the likes of Answer and I can't think of the top of my head, but he was particularly impressive last night. I mean, yeah, the Lions look like a good side. I think the Lions look better than the Packers over the course of the first 2 weeks. Matt Stafford, as I was saying, alluding to earlier, looking like he's well worth that money they paid for him. Yeah, the Lions have really stamped their authority on this season so far, and they don't look like they're going to stop anytime soon. And I always think with the Lions, you're thinking about their receiver core. I mean, it's not the best in the league, but Eric Ebron really pulled himself.
Eric Ebron had a great game.
He did have a very good
Golden
game.
Tate also, well, he was a bit anonymous last night.
He was.
But he's always.
I thought Marvin Jones and Eric Ebron were the main people getting the TDs last night. Running game didn't really get going.
No.
Abdullah, they need to improve that. Do you think they need to have that at its very best to actually win this division?
It really helps in the red zone, pumping it into the touchdowns, getting them short yardage gains. But they seem to be doing fine. I don't think there's a problem there. Matt Stafford can always throw just a quick throw to the corners, and we'll see what happens. I don't think the running game's an issue for the Lions. I think it's not the strongest, but it's definitely not the worst out there.
Yeah, and moving on to another game that also caught my eye. I've got like a list of 6 games that caught my eye over the course of the weekend. Was Chiefs-Eagles. A very boring game up until sort of the third, fourth quarter when the Chiefs finally came with it. But we were discussing on Sunday after the game that very pleasing to see the Eagles actually push the Chiefs, who are one of the best teams in the whole of the NFL.
Well, arguably did a better performance than the New England Patriots did in week 1.
Definitely.
So can be proud of the Eagles. But yeah, the Chiefs look very strong this season. The Eagles held them to a tough game. So yeah, 2 strong teams there.
And I'm beginning to think this Eagles pass rush is very impressive. I mean, it had a reasonably decent game on Sunday, denying Alex Smith on various chances. Do you think that's going to be the key to your season? Yeah,
we've got a lot of performers there. We've got Fletcher Cox, who Defensive Player of the Year, was he? I don't remember.
He's been one of the most impressive this season.
Yeah,
so
he has.
far.
And there's Malcolm Jenkins. He's been class for years now. So a lot of weapons on that defense, strangely enough. But yeah.
So how would you rate the season so far out of 10 for the 2
Eagles?
games for the Eagles?
8, maybe a 7.5. Could have been better, but it's a strong start. Better than I was expecting. So.
Better than I was expecting, if I'm honest. I was expecting the Giants to be a lot better. I think Sam's prediction is the Chiefs Giants. On the Chiefs side,
that's out the window,
it's looking. I think that's looking favourable.
No,
I think Chiefs have probably been the most impressive side in the AFC. As for the Giants, one of the worst sides in the whole of the league. Yeah. I mean, the only sides you'd imagine they can beat: Jets, Browns, Colts.
Maybe the Bears this season.
Maybe the Bears.
I don't know if they're playing them though.
I don't know whether they're paying them. But yeah, that is the roundup of week 1.
So we'll move on to players of the week in week 2, and we'll start off with Devontae Freeman. He had a great game last night. Wasn't last night, was it? It was a Sunday night. He had a great game in the Sunday night game. And did he get 3 touchdowns?
I believe so.
There you go, James. What do you think of his performance?
Well, as I was alluding to earlier in the video, I think he's possibly one of the best running backs in the red zone. I think finding that end zone he seems to be able to do with ease. Every time he's down there, it's a guaranteed TD. It's a really nice running back core they've got at the Atlanta Falcons. I think probably one of my favourite in football. Tevin Coleman, guy who can catch out the backfield, and then you've got Freeman, who's just an elusive back and one of the most underrated backs in the league, I think.
He really is, yeah. Well, he's definitely coming into his own this season. Next up on the list is Trevor Siemian. Broncos had a great week this week. What do you think about his performance?
I think he's just really making it that Broncos starting position his own. I think they really needed to transition from Peyton Manning. That a couple of weeks ago, I think I heard one of the pundits saying, oh, well, they might be getting Manning out of retirement. Not like seriously, but he thought it wouldn't be a bad option at this point because the Broncos aren't so good offensively. But Trevor Siemian going, I can be a guy. Forget Paxton Lynch. She has no chance of making this starting position. I've got a good connection with the likes of Fowler, the likes of Sanders. You've got a good receiving core. And I thought he looked like an NFL quarterback on Sunday. Yeah, and they've definitely got a backup in Paxton Lynch, so there's no need for Peyton to come out of retirement at all. No, I can't remember who said that. I think about week 1.
Emmanuel Sanders, James.
Yeah, Emmanuel Sanders, a guy I know from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was very upset when he left. And I was also very upset this week because I did not put him in my fantasy team. He sat on the bench after making only a couple of receptions against the Chargers. This week he proved why he's one of the best receivers in the whole of the NFL with a few TD grabs. I can't remember the exact number of them. But yeah, he's on my list there.
Yeah, good game.
Good game from you.
I didn't watch that game, so I can't tell you.
All right, yeah.
But next up, big man, TB12.
TB12, yes, of course, Tom Brady. We were all questioning him, how is he going to react after that poor performance against the Chiefs. Can he bounce back? And perfect game against the Saints, and it proved to be that with, well, as I say, that stat earlier, 3 TDs in the first quarter, went to score a few more, and just the connections he had with his receivers, him and Gronk connecting well. I mean, an injury to Gronk, I don't know whether you know the updated status on that one.
It's a minor injury, apparently, just precautionary, really, because, you know, he's made of paper, so...
He is made of paper, and when he plays, the Patriots are like next level. But even without him, the Patriots, you know, they're going to make plays. And even if he was out injured, would you have any fears that they wouldn't make the playoffs or anything? I personally wouldn't, given the division.
I think they'd still make the playoffs. They probably wouldn't be a threat during the playoffs as much as with Gronk, but yeah, definitely still a strong side there.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are sort of like, without Gronk, they're a 7 out of 10 team. With Gronk, they're a 10 out of 10 team. Yeah. And the final player I've got is Michael Crabtree, who ran riot against the New York Jets. I don't know whether I should have a player of the week on when they played the New York Jets. I mean, get all your fantasy players when they're playing the New York Jets, get them straight into your side. I mean, the Jets are just terrible. Just a terrible side.
Awful.
And I could include numerous of the Raiders players. I mean, I could include Derek Carr. I could have included Marshawn Lynch, who's made a flying start to his Raiders career. I mean, what do you think of having Marshawn Lynch back in Auckland? Not back in Auckland. Back in the NFL, but in Auckland.
Yeah, well, he fits in perfectly there. They need a running game as well. They didn't really have a running game last year. They threw it a lot. They looked a bit like the Saints this year. Good on passing offense, but nothing there on rushing. And now they've got that powerhouse of Marshawn Lynch. They could go all the way this year.
Definitely could.
So now we're going to talk about a couple of the best players of the week. We were discussing beforehand Gronkowski's, was it an 87-yard TD, something like that?
Something like that. I mean, we don't actually have the
stats.
The stats off the top of our heads, but I mean, we all witnessed these plays. So yeah, he just brushed off a guy, thought he was going to get taken down, casually brushes him off. Yeah. I would say casually brushes him off. That was the impressive thing about it, and just marches in the end zone. So there's Gronk's TD.
The separation on the to get rid of his corner or safety, whoever was marking him, the separation he got there. He had a good 20 yards either side of him. And then he finally got chased down because he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he broke the tackle. Yeah,
I mean, we were saying that you used to, you know, when they're running into the end zone, you go like 10, 5, touchdown, we're like 10, 5.
Touchdown.
Yeah, there you go. And then other impressive players this week, you know, the punt return last night from the Lions guy, 35.
Obviously, we know his name. We're just not telling you.
We do know his name. This is not off the top of our heads. There's a lot of players. There's 53-man rosters. You can't know every player.
No.
But an impressive player.
It was.
It's always good to see a punt return.
It's always exciting to see. And at the time, I was thinking the Giants really should have gone for it on fourth down there because it was not late it was early in the fourth quarter. They were down by a touchdown. I was thinking to myself, they have to go for it on fourth down here. If they don't, they're basically giving up the game. They punted it, and then it went for a kick return. Well, a punt return TD. Game was over, and that was that.
And another one is Travis Kelce's TD against the Eagles. When a little shovel pass and trucked over into the end zone. It's impressive to find the end zone from that kind of range.
Well, obviously, Travis Kelce's playing as the fullback as well as the tight end this year, so it was a good touchdown. I did not like his celebration afterwards.
Oh, well, yeah.
That was upsetting.
The Eagles,
It wasn't like he was in the Lincoln Financial either. The Chiefs were at home, so I don't know why he's done that, because it's not exactly riling up any fans. It was just I won't say a pleasant move. Right, so that's it for week 2. We're now moving on to week 3. That video will be up on Saturday. Thank you very much for watching. You can catch us on Twitter at Squib_TV. I don't know what else we have really. Just subscribe, like, comment. Tell us what you think about week 2, any players you thought we've missed out there. And thank you very much for watching. It's not a touchdown.